Welcome into the Cowboys Report, made possible today by RexMD, the #1 leader in men's telehealth, offering their best deal ever, up to 90% off and $2 per dosage at rexmd.com/chat. Tell you more about that later on in today's show. But we've got some Jalen Ramsey rumors after the, I'd say, fairly bombshell report from NFL Network saying the Rams have had trade conversations on Jalen Ramsey, and there is an expectation from other NFL teams that he will be dealt this offseason, most likely in the coming weeks. There had been reports from ESPN that the Rams could end up shopping him, but now there's the full-fledged, maybe not likelihood or guaranteed outcome, but real chance that Ramsey, again, ends up getting dealt. We're going to break down some of the pros and cons and the potential fit in Dallas here, but we'll be at the Combine this week, maybe getting some more updates on the Ramsey front. So subscribe right now for free videos every single day, plus extra ones throughout the week mixed in there. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. We'll have the Mike McCarthy press conference for you. He'll be there this weekend or this week as well. Don't miss out. Subscribe for free. Let's begin by breaking down some of the pros to a hypothetical Jalen Ramsey trade, which really begin with he's good at football, right? Jalen Ramsey remains one of the better corners in the NFL. Now, I will make note, despite having 4 interceptions and 18 pass breakups this year, he hasn't been quite the same guy he was at his prime. I think there has been a little bit of drop-off from Jalen Ramsey. But remember, when we say a little bit of drop-off from Ramsey, we're saying, he's probably not the best corner in the NFL, and now he's still one of the better corners in the NFL, from top 3 lock to he's probably somewhere in the top 5, top 10, depending on where exactly you want to rank him in that area. And he'd be a massive upgrade over what the Cowboys have currently at the cornerback spot. Outside of Trevon Diggs, there's no argument to be made for anyone else on this roster, and even Diggs is probably pushing it, who'd be better than Jalen Ramsey. So that would be a significant upgrade. You trade for Jalen Ramsey, your cornerback problem you had last year, it's gone. It's fixed. You've taken care of it because I assume you're moving picks. More on that in a little bit. You got Diggs and Bland and Ramsey and Mukuamu and Wright and Joseph. You are loaded at cornerback now. You even have depth, God forbid, in case of injuries. The cons are coming, but I want to hear from you guys first. Do you want to trade for Jalen Ramsey? Let me know in the comments, at the pinned comments of today's video. Y for yes, N for no. If the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, type in Y for yes, you want Ramsey, N for no, you do not. Now, regardless of which way you're voting, there are some cons for Ramsey we have to figure out. Namely, hey, it'd probably be expensive, both the contract, which we'll get into, but also I think the rough trade value. Now, I don't have a great feel for what Ramsey's trade is. My suspicion is the Rams are going to ask for a lot. They actually don't save that much money, as we'll get into later on here, with a Ramsey trade. So I think you're talking at minimum a first-round pick or multiple second-round picks. And I'd say it's probably more of the former in at least a first-round pick. The Rams are moving on from Bobby Wagner. They're clearly doing a bit of a reset, or at least a mini rebuild on the defensive side of the football, and moving on from some of their bigger, higher-priced players. There's also a report, by the way, that Ramsey wants a new deal, which we'll get into as a very real con there. But I think if you are moving on from Ramsey and you're the Rams, you have to be getting back premium draft asset or assets, because it just doesn't make sense otherwise. That's not how the Rams are ever operated, really. It's not how NFL teams are moving on from good players for very little trade in exchange, outside of maybe a few examples there. So I think when it comes to the trade value of Ramsey, you've got to give up very real and significant assets to acquire him, because other teams have bigger needs at corner than Dallas, and they're going to give up quite a bit in that case. Some of the contract stuff here coming up, but if you sometimes lack some confidence in the bedroom, you've had those nights where you're a little nervous, or maybe you just had too much to drink, there's nothing worse than not being able to put the stick shift in drive when you need it the most. But have no fear, RexMD is here spreading cheer, even if you had a few too many beers. RexMD is FDA approved and the most trusted leader in men's telehealth. They have sponsored today's Cowboys Report to help you always be prepared. RexMD has made it simple, easy, and cost-effective to help all the men out there last longer and feel more confident in the bedroom. RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything's online, even the prescription. They deliver it discreetly to your door. No waiting rooms, no embarrassing trips to the doctor, no insurance, no copays. Take advantage of the best deal they've ever offered and get up to 90% off. Only pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. Go to rexmd.com/chat for this limited time deal. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are available to get started. That's rexmd.com/chat. 90% off, $2 per dosage. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's begin with the contract side of it here and why I think the Rams have a high asking price. They say $5.6 million by trading away Ramsey. That's not a lot of money to get back for that type of player. You're not maximizing your cap savings there in the short term. They'd save more with the restructure, which again makes me think there's more going on here. The new team in a trade would owe Jalen Ramsey 3 years, $55 million, $17 million this year on the cap. You would restructure it, bring that number down, push the back number. But here's the problem. Per Mike Florio, Ramsey apparently wants a new contract, despite having 3 years left. Now, I think that's a bit more on the logical speculation than like purely his agent told me the source stuff there from Florio. But when it comes to contracts, he's normally actually pretty on point with that there, which is significant. If you're trading for Ramsey and offering and having to give a new contract, that would start to make sense as to why the Rams are open to dealing him, right? Because they don't want to pay him on a big fat new deal and they have 3 years left on it there. So at minimum, in theory, you're making Ramsey the highest paid corner in the NFL. He's already up in the top 3 at $20 million. Even if it's only a new 3-year, 4-year deal at $22 million, $21.5, whatever it ends up being, that's still more significant money you have to pay, and you don't benefit as much from, well, the old team paid him, we're saving some money in the short term. No, you're still having to max him out from the cornerback contract perspective. So with that in mind, would you trade a first-rounder for Jalen Ramsey? Type in D for deal, you're going to make that trade happen, or P for pass. Now, the other aspect kind of under the radar here is I love the idea of pairing up Diggs and Ramsey. But remember, Trevon Diggs is now entering the final year of his deal. He's going to want a big, fat new contract. And I cannot recall the last time the Cowboys had 2 highly paid corners on their roster. If you're going to trade for Ramsey, you're going to make him $21 million per year. Trevon Diggs is going to want that big type of contract, even if it's a little bit less. We're talking about investing $40 million into the cornerback spot, which I don't hate, but that's not how the Cowboys tend to operate. And I would be surprised if they invested 2 premium contracts at the cornerback spot. There's also this other aspect for Ramsey. Does he want to be there? I always grew up a Cowboys fan, Jalen Ramsey said when asked about the Cowboys drafting him. So if I went to them 4th, that's a dream come true. When I was on my visit to Dallas, they told me straight up to my face, if you're there at 4, we're taking you. But we don't think you're going to be there at 4. We think the Chargers are going to take you. Ramsey has not forgiven the Cowboys for that. There is still some bad blood with whether it happened or not. It's how he feels, and that's his own perspective. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that's how it went down. There is, of course, only the one side. But Ramsey's not forgiven Dallas for not drafting him. He was very upset about that. And he said before, he doesn't really want to go back to Dallas. Now, money fixes everything, right? And in a bubble, I'd love to get Ramsey on this roster. You put him alongside Trevon Diggs. That is the best cornerback duo in the NFL. You got playmakers. Teams didn't throw at Diggs this past year. They're going to throw at Ramsey? They're going to not throw at Ramsey. Means more interceptions for Diggs. That's a great 1-2 punch. But my hopes are not high here because of the contract, because of the trade value, because of just this isn't how the Cowboys do business. Only big-name players they trade for are normally receivers. That's the route they end up going. And I think if you're Dallas, what if a team like the Lions, or this one is kind of weird, but it's accurate, the Jags, they could use him, and they have the money and the draft pick to make it work, and they're a contender. It's kind of weird. The Lions or Jags, they have higher first-round picks than you. They could offer their first-round pick and beat you in a bidding war, and they don't really have a true number 1 corner or a corner of Diggs' caliber. It feels a big like the almost logical fit, ignoring Micah Parsons' comments about no one wants to go from LA to Detroit, I think is the Lions, by the way. Big need at corner, 2 first-round picks. Rams have a good trade relationship there. They would be in a better spot to win that war than I think Dallas would be. So with that in mind, percent chance the Cowboys trade for Jalen Ramsey. Let me know in the comments section and be honest with me down there.